I'm going to be talking while playing Saints Row 5, the PS5 version. Sorry, PS4. For once, the PS4 version is actually worse than the PS5 version, like usually. Ever since I played Spider-Man PS5, I've noticed a trend of the PS5 version of games being worse than the PS4 version. The only difference being this and The Last of Us. You know, like Spider-Man, Saints Row. I can't just be that too, there must be more, but I don't remember right now. Far Cry 6, possibly, but I don't know. Anyway, this is school on Thursday, the 20th of October 2022. In Moving Image, I just did a bit of homework for English, and when I did that, I just read for the rest of the day. And I finished Under the Red Hood. It's good. I've seen the movie years ago, so I can't really compare them. I know that they do have the differences, but I'm not going to say which one is better or which one's worse. And also, apparently, the Hush comics connected to it, but I wasn't actually a fan of Hush. Like, the character's great, but the comic and movie, not really. And then the teacher called me up, and she was looking at that like 500-word document I had to make, and she said, right, so do you know where you're planning on casting? I said, yeah. Either it's gonna be me and my friend, or my friend's parents. She said, as also, is it possible to cast yourself? And she said, no, because I need to be the one holding the camera. Which, I mean, you know, I'm supposed to be the director, not the director of photography. Because, you know, directors are in their films all the time. The director isn't the person that holds the camera. The person that holds the camera is the director of photography. So I need to be the director of photography, the director, and the writer. I need to be everything but a star. Anyway. She also said, so do you still have that classroom assistant you had last year? I said, no, I have this new person. Oh, what's her name? This. She said, oh, it's. She pronounced it differently. Like, I'm gonna make up a fake name. Henderson. That sounds familiar, but I don't know where from. You know, I said, I have Miss Henderson. She said, oh, you have Miss Henderson? I didn't mispronounce it, she just misheard me, but whatever. Then she emailed the mentor, despite the fact, I don't understand how she emailed the mentor, considering she doesn't know the mentor. She knows one person within my school, because this guy it's the male head of year. He also is responsible for collaboration. I don't know how he knows the mentor. Or how she knows the mentor, I mean. I'll get to it later. I can't think what's next. Actually, I'll get to it now because there's nothing in between. So, I'm just going to call her Miss Henderson. She went up to me in study and said, go on. The Moving Image teacher has emailed the mentor, talking about the acting. I think what's happened is that she hasn't emailed the mentor, she actually emailed the male head of year, and then the male head of year forwarded it to the mentor. But so I explained what happened to Miss Anderson, and so she thinks that I should cast you, and Miss Anderson said no, she couldn't. She's not up for it. I was sitting next to Jack at the time, and Jack Like, oh, you making a movie, Dylan? Despite the fact this was stuff he already knew. And I said, yeah, oh, can I be in it? Well, I wouldn't be able to get to you. We don't live near each other. I showed him a script. I showed him. I didn't show him the videos from last year, but I did show him like the folder that the videos are in. He saw like the thumbnails. Is that your parents, Dylan? It's like, yeah, my parents are definitely in their 80s. We laughed about the fact that he didn't. We both laughed about the fact that he thought that my grandparents were actually my parents. And then he got a notification on his iPad, and this stuff that you already know. But Liz Truss is resigned after 44 days. So she is the shortest serving Prime Minister of the UK. The previous person before her, previous shortest living PM before her lasted, I think, 119 days in 1827. So it's just, the world gets crazier by the second now. Anyway, I had a prefect after study, and it was just the same. I just put these books up. We talked about Liz. We talked about the show Inside Man. Teacher said, "Oh, Dylan, you have the media teacher next, right?" Yeah. So I want to know what he thinks about Inside Man. I don't get the opportunity to talk to him. Like, the only opportunity that I would get to ask him the question would be at the very start, but he's busy because it was very loud before we went in because we were next to a bunch of year 8s, I guess. And he came out. I expected him to shout at the year 8s, but he didn't. And I decided not to say anything. And so I didn't get the opportunity to actually ask him about Inside Man. But we studied less than 2 pages of King Lear. Like, usually you'll give us the script for an entire scene. So we've Act 1, Scene 1 in one booklet, Act 1, Scene 2 in one booklet. But this, unless Act 1, Scene 3 is only less than 2 pages, he's given us just one double-sided page. So we put the notes on that, gave us another. Yeah, he asked me to go to the office to collect some like printed off work for him. I did. The people at the office gave us a lot of papers. I said, also mean we. Went down, opened the doorway. Oh, what's all this you have? Oh, I forgot it. I forgot to get that. We watched a video about tragedy. We have a question due Thursday. Also have a media essay due Friday, due tomorrow. Tomorrow's also my birthday. Also, The Car by Art of Monkeys comes out. Also, Tales from the Borderlands comes out. The new one. Also, Gotham Knights comes out. Also, hopefully, Gotham Knights Guild of the City comes out. Oh, I feel bad. Anyway, I think that's it. Yeah, screw it, that'll be it. It's Twitter as of 2 to 8 p.m. Yeah, so Liz is out. What the hell do you think you're doing? What do you hope to achieve by painting whatever this place is with orange paint? It's and it wasn't Theresa May, it's Boris Johnson that hopes to get back in. I feel like they just pick Liz. You know, they're like, who's the worst person we can put as prime minister that is almost immediately going to get kicked out? Well, not kicked out, it's going to leave. So that the people will be like, okay, we'll take anyone but her. And then Boris steps in, and then everyone see Boris as a hero. Or at least that's what Boris wants, but we won't. Oh no. They wiped it off our kitchen wall. You didn't achieve what you wanted to achieve. Well, it's a good thing you didn't achieve what you wanted to achieve, considering you would have got a life sentence for property damage worth millions. The blackouts are going to occur. I suspect the leaked stories of 3 hours will be dropped in 2 hours, so we'll think it's a bargain, but as long as we keep supporting Zelensky, having our OAPs die at home from hypothermia is a small price to pay.
Has just joined me in the studio. Nigel, thank you very much. A man for a crisis, some would say. This is a crisis. What's going on? What are you hearing?
It was obvious from Friday, wasn't it? Absolutely obvious. Of all the people that Liz Truss would have picked to become Chancellor, Hunt would have been very near the bottom of the list. He wasn't part of her circle. She'd appointed a cabinet of her own friends. That may have been unwise. You know, Thatcher had Peter Walker and kept people like that. Suddenly it's Jeremy Hunt. What you're now seeing today is the Hunt reshuffle. People ask, how long will Liz Truss last as Prime Minister? It doesn't matter. Hunt now has total control of the country, and what you're witnessing...
I have a feeling this aired not long before she resigned. Hours. Maybe minutes.
I don't like using this language, because it puts me in the realms of the sort of conspiracy theorists. This is a globalist coup. You will see, bit by bit, the levers being kicked out of the cabinet, and Suella has committed two terrible sins. The first, she dared suggest that a trade deal with India should not involve open-door immigration.
Yeah.
But second, and far worse, far worse, we should leave the ECHR. That is not acceptable to the globalists in any way at all. They believe in open borders. They're not bothered about the English Channel or any of that stuff. And the excuse being given, or being briefed, she broke national security by sending a text to a mate on her personal mail. Forget it.
No, especially considering that might have happened quite a long time ago as well. I mean, they must be taking us for fools, by the way, if they think that that's the actual reason. Nigel, stay there, please. I know you're a busy man, but thank you
Texas AG urges prosecution over grotesque, child-friendly drag show near Dallas. That's an oxymoron for you. This looks like the final straw. Good. Should have had the final straw months ago. I mean, it shouldn't have happened in the first place, but... You know, why is it the final straw now? It shouldn't have been months ago. The ones about that happened. Sex, strangers. She is the devoted wife of Mueller, and yet is utterly unrepentant than having 8 affairs during their 20-year marriage. Devoted wife of Mueller. Gonna need a fact check here. They burned cities down for George, but we can't talk about this poor girl as to not offend illegal immigrants. Sorry, migrants, I mean. Following the gruesome murder of a 12-year-old girl in Paris by an Algerian migrant who was in the country illegally, it has now been revealed that just 0.2% of illegal Algerian migrants are deported from France. Masks were pointless. Lockdowns did more harm than good. Vaccine mandates were unjustified. Everything they called misinformation turned out to be true. Everything they told us turned out to be misinformation. Yet they're still in charge. Find these frauds. Rand Paul reacted to the news that the CDC had approved corona vaccinations for all children under the age of 19, calling the decision appalling. Major supermarket chain in the UK is finalising plans to stock insects on its shelves and market them as a cheap food source for people struggling to afford to feed their families amid soaring inflation and the cost of living crisis. I guarantee it's Tesco. Which globalist puppet will be the next British PM? Reminder that Truss had her whole cabinet decimated off the back of trying to pass a measly 5% tax reduction back at 2021 levels. 5%. Oh no, the absolute horror.
I'm Gianluca Grimalda. I'm a researcher in social psychology at a research institute in Germany, and I'm here in the Porsche Pavilion in the Autostadt of Wolfsburg to denounce the responsibility of Volkswagen in the climate emergency that we are facing. Volkswagen is the largest car manufacturer in Europe and the second largest in the world. And the transport sector, the car sector, has a huge responsibility in the climate emergency. There are 12% of CO2 emissions that come from the car sector. So we are here with 8 other members of a scientist rebellion and with the 6 people who are helping us to demand the acceptance of the demands of our campaign. The introduction of a speed limit on motorways in Germany and the reintroduction of the €9 tickets that allow the people to travel freely, well, for €9 on the public transport in Germany. And we are here because we know as scientists that there is a clear connection between the amount of CO2 emissions and the increase in temperatures. And we have already seen that now with only 1.2 temperature increase since pre-industrial level, we are observing famines, floods, droughts, and many other extreme weather events. We know that that is the cause, and we know that we must stop CO2 emissions. We know that we must decarbonize. The standard net zero by 2050, which also Volkswagen complies with, we know that will bring many millions of people dying. We know that for sure because I read the International Panel on Climate Change report, and we know that this is going to happen. So we are here to denounce the role of Volkswagen. We demand the government of Germany to comply with our demands of our campaign.
There are over 15 other members of Person have occupied the Porsche Pavilion at police, 9 of us glued to the floor, and some of us on a hunger strike until our demands to decarbonize the German transport sector are met. PW told us that they supported our right to protest, but they refused our request to provide us with a bowl to urinate and defecate in a decent manner while we are glued, and have turned off the heating. People in support can't get out of the building. The world's smallest violin plays. Biden administration energy advisor Amos Hochstein, sounds German to me, made a Wednesday that while the regime wants to increase oil production in the short term, its overall aim is to limit it in order to accelerate the transition. Jeremy Hunt, the new de facto prime minister, is a zero-corona icon loon who lobbied for children to be taken from their parents and put in quarantine camps. Good luck, United Kingdom. Liz Truss is about to resign. Number 10 source confirms the Sky person. Me waking up today and seeing the government falling apart even more. Become the Prime Minister. Kill the Queen. Crash the economy. Refuse to elaborate. Leave. General election! Anytime any government comes into play, they do the opposite of what the public wants. They screw up the economy, screw up small businesses, increase inflation, and screw your life up, all while ignoring you. And your solution is another government. This grizzly bear we got keeps mauling everyone to death. We need to get a different grizzly bear. I mean, there's literally a subreddit for all this. Well, It's similar, not the same. r/ leopards eating my face or something like that. Where it's still the people who complain about the things that they voted for. Like, I always say that all this stuff that's happening is my dad's fault because, yeah, he didn't vote for Boris because that's not how it works. But he supported Boris. What are you proposing? Anarchy? I'm voting so hard things will be different this time. The 31-year-old voter. What, you aren't gonna vote? It's your civic duty. I'm sounding like a Canadian saying vote. Genuinely thinks his own vote will save the world. Has seething hatred for anyone who doesn't vote for his party. Oh yeah, voting! Spends 30 hours a week reading and watching news. Thinks him being informed somehow matters. Can't discuss anything but news when out with friends, annoying everyone around him. Doesn't realise he is just brainwashing himself with CIA propaganda. Still foolishly thinks that the people have the power. Look at child. I still didn't say foolish, right? Look at child. Has no goals, thoughts, or ideas beyond what the media spoon feeds him. As opposed to what? Can't even conceive of a world without government? Sad. That sounds like the dumbest thing in the world. What about enforcement of laws, externalities, monopoly, use of violence and force? Private property anarchism is when no rules at all whatsoever. Well, I mean, where's the lie? Like, anarchism is when no rules. So what does this new meme ideology have? ANCAP fantasies or just conceiving of a world where nuclear war ends the concept of civil society? I'm thinking right now of that quote from Black Lagoon. It's like I don't know, but it basically is like Revy complaining about the fact that nukes are illegal and how much of a shame that is. Okay, I should specify. That's what Revy thinks, not what I think. Don't take me down for terrorism. David discovers libertarianism. I'm happy to be your first. I'll text you back, I promise. Going down memory lane of just how much weird crap there was on the SNES. Hardy Henry's lasagna serves 2 to 3 people. Yet it's tiny. This is going to be legendary.
Now regret saying DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. Are you sorry you said that?
No.
I don't think it matters. You should be.
Absolutely not.
You should be.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, but yeah, you should be.
Absolutely not.
When you insult the Jewish people and say you're going DEFCON 3 on the Jewish people, that is as racist as anything you say you've been through. And
Jewish people are not a race. They're a religion.
any pain that you've experienced. It's the same thing. Racism is racism. And you know that, I think, don't you?
Yeah, obviously, that's why I said it.
So you said it knowing it's racist?
Not racist, it's anti-Semitic.
Yes, I fought fire with fire.
Okay.
I'm not here to get hosed down.
At least you now regret saying DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. Are you sorry you...
Please don't take me now for that. Jesus Christ.